You know, when we think about overcoming the ego, we usually picture this grand battle, like a knight slaying a dragon, right? We figure if we just meditate enough or, I don't know, read the right books, the dragon just vanishes.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely want that clear before and after victory lap. I mean, we really like things to be solvable.
Right. But dive into the modern spiritual landscape and you realize something pretty terrifying. The dragon didn't actually die, it just, put on a very convincing disguise of yoga pants and mala beads.
It's totally hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into some fascinating philosophical texts. We're looking at popular religion, which is often called Lokdharm, and contrasting it with the AP framework, which are the teachings of Acharya Prashant.
Right. And the goal here is to explore a pretty radical perspective. The idea that a lot of what we call modern spirituality might actually just be feeding our ego rather than freeing us from it.
Which is wild to think about.
It really is. But to understand this, we have to look at how Lokdharm, or popular religion, actually operates. It's basically built on a system of rewards.
Like transactional stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It tells people to do good deeds, fast, pray, and in exchange, you get a reward, like heaven or moksha, or just good karma. So it comforts the ego instead of actually dismantling it.
So you're basically just like negotiating a better deal for yourself.
Precisely. And the geometry the source uses to describe this is fascinating. Think of the temple-goer praying for salvation and the shopkeeper hustling for cash.
Okay, yeah.
They're actually standing on the exact same level. That's the horizontal axis. The ego is just trading material wealth for spiritual wealth, but it never actually changes.
Oh, wow. That reminds me of the internal combustion engine analogy from the text.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one to bring up.
Right, because desire is the fuel. Like, if you're driving toward a corporate promotion, that's one destination. But if you suddenly switch gears and drive towards, say, enlightenment...
The destination changed, sure.
Exactly. But the traveler, like the engine itself, which is the ego, is running on the exact same fuel. The transaction just got a holy makeover. So, if the ego just wears a new religious disguise, isn't that just a new way to hoard possessions?
That's exactly it. You're still hoarding. You're just hoarding things you can't deposit in a bank, You're building a spiritual resume.
A spiritual resume, wow.
Yeah, which is a serious trap. Especially today, when the ego is thicker than ever. Between social media, endless consumerism, and the motivation industry, the ego basically has an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Right. Because popular religion merely changes the ego's shopping list. And I guess that's where the AP framework comes in to disrupt the whole machine.
Exactly. Instead of staying on that horizontal treadmill of acquiring more, his framework introduces the vertical axis.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, instead of asking what you should get to have a better life, this framework asks a highly uncomfortable question. It asks, who is the one doing the wanting?
Wait, so there's no guaranteed reward, like no step-by-step method to feel better?
Nope. There is no comfort here, no promised hidden true self, and definitely no spiritual prize at the end.
That sounds really frustrating, to be honest. Like, what's the point if I don't get anything out of it?
See that frustration you're feeling right there?
Yeah.
That is the ego realizing it's not getting a treat. And that's exactly how the vertical axis works. When you ask, who wants this enlightenment, you force the mind to look at itself.
Oh, I get it. You aren't giving the ego a new toy to play with.
Right. You're starving it of its favorite activity, which is chasing the future. The goal is simply to make the ego thinner through honest, uncomfortable observation.
Ah, I see. Because the moment I pause to genuinely investigate the who, the desperate wanting just stops.
Precisely. The ego only survives through momentum. By constantly demanding the next thing, it keeps itself alive. True completeness isn't an achievement or some trophy you eventually win.
Right.
Completeness is simply the absence of the ego that was crying out for rewards in the first place.
It's a total paradigm shift. One path satisfies the ego by buying it a brand new, very pious spiritual wardrobe, and the other path basically forces the ego to strip down and look in the mirror.
And that reflection isn't always pretty, which is why it's so much easier to stay on that horizontal treadmill.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So, for everyone listening, as you go about your day, maybe think about how often you disguise your desires as spiritual or personal growth.
It definitely happens more than we like to admit.
It really does. But I want to leave you with a final paradox to chew on. If reaching a state of no ego becomes your ultimate burning goal.
Oh, right.
Like if you're stressing out about how perfectly egoless you are compared to everyone else, isn't that just the ultimate ego trip?